do it, I guess.
Are you sure?
I guess.
You want me to start like back here or like right here? Where do you want me to start? You ready?
Yeah.
This story starts with a man named Sean Swarner, and he's a 2-time terminal cancer survivor. During his first diagnosis, he was given 2 months to live, and during his second diagnosis, he was actually only given 2 weeks to live. But he survived both, and since that time, he's inspired people by climbing the world's highest mountains and spreading hope. He was actually the first cancer survivor to ever climb Mount Everest, and after that, he went on to complete the remaining 7 summits and the Explorer's Grand Slam. In addition, each year his foundation, Cancer Climber, sponsors a cancer survivor to climb the world's tallest freestanding mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro. Sean selected me to be the survivor to climb Kilimanjaro in 2018. But how did we meet? Well, it all started with SportsCenter.
This is SportsCenter.
It was a few days after I finished chemotherapy when a SportsCenter segment about Sean, his cancer diagnosis, and his recent trip to the North Pole came on.
I wouldn't call it pride. That's my son, Sean Swarner, and I am honored to say it. And I am especially honored to say it on this day. But he isn't just mine. For everyone, everywhere with cancer, or a similar cross to bear, he's your son too.
Never having heard about Sean until this point, I was immediately inspired, so I emailed him telling him exactly that. I also explained how I was wanting to plan an adventure to celebrate beating cancer. Sure enough, just a couple days later, he emailed me back saying how he wanted to join me on that adventure, that we needed to start planning a trip, and how we could even make it a fundraiser, raising money for cancer patients.
And there's another one.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
And then quickly down.
Thank you.
Now, almost a year after that initial email to Sean, I was finally on my way to Tanzania to climb Kilimanjaro.
Sevgili çocuklar, kemerin kalkışları sönünceye kadar kemerinizi bağlı tutun. Tüm elektronik cihazlarınızı kullanabilirsiniz. Uçak park pozisyonuna ulaştığında başüstü dolaplarını açarken dikkatli olun. Yolculuğunuzun iyi geçmiş olduğunu umuyor ve sizler açarken dikkatli olun. Yolculuğunuzun iyi geçmiş olduğunu umuyor ve sizlerle yeniden karşılaşmayı diliyoruz. Airline üyesi Türk Hava Yolları ile uçuşunuz için teşekkür ederiz. Ladies and gentlemen, dear children, please keep your seatbelts fastened until
It took 2 flights and almost 24 hours flying time, but I had finally made it to Africa. This was the farthest I had ever been from home. I arrived a few days before our climb started, so Sean and myself used that time to explore the country.
Hakuna matata, hakuna matata, hakuna matata,
Watafunzi wamefika,
hakuna matata,
na habari si kopi,
hakuna matata.
Hey!
Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana, wageni wakaribishwa kahawa yetu, hakuna matata.
Eventually, though, it was time to start the climb. Now, Kilimanjaro has 7 established routes that will take you to Uhuru Peak, the most popular being the Machame route, which is the one we took. It's a 6 or 7 day hike that spans 38 miles from gate to gate. A special part about this hike is all the diverse ecosystems you get to experience in such a short time. You start the hike in the rainforest, go through a heather, moorland, and alpine desert zone, and eventually get to the freezing cold summit, which is home to multiple glaciers. The first day of hiking is all rainforest and ends right when you get to the heather zone.
It's incredible. Look at this. Beautiful.
We're some of the first people here, I think.
We'll do more of these. Good job, boy.
When we got to camp, all of our bags had arrived, the tents were set up, and the food was ready to eat. The porters really tried their best to make us feel at home each and every night.
Sante. Sante.
Thank you.
Toppings on.
Thank you.
I cannot wait for a baby wipe shower after this.
Dude, that's so interesting.
Yeah, it's white. It's over that little middle piece of the table.
Get out of here.
You're very ingenious.
When we woke up, we found ourselves in the middle of the clouds. That day's hike was relatively short, but it was also very strenuous. It wasn't long before we were well above the same clouds that we woke up in that morning.
We'll make it. It's confident. I just was caught off guard by it. Hard to talk it out.
We've been down for a couple of minutes now. You can hear him coming.
Koji!
Too tired to do that. Yeah, that's good.
It's crazy.
Whew. Camp 2. Whew. We made it. That's our tent right there.
I mentioned earlier how Sean had completed the 7 summits.
Hello from the Denver airport.
But I didn't add how that on each climb he carried with him a flag. On that flag were the names of thousands of individuals who had been touched by cancer.
It's the highest mountain on every continent.
And on my trip, I got to carry one of those flags, which had the names of friends and family members on it.
The people who were touched by cancer, the people battling for their lives, they carried me to the summit. I'm the first cancer survivor in history to climb to the top of Mount Everest.
It was at Sheer Camp where I wrote the names of the people touched by cancer on the flag.
So what do those names mean to you?
Doing this for them, giving them hope. You know, cancer is not the end.
Why is hope so important?
Keeps you going. You know? Gives you, just gives you energy. It's like.
Now, I didn't want to put my name on the flag, but knowing how upset my mom would be if it wasn't on there, I asked Sean if he would do it for me. That flag then stayed with me in my chest pocket the rest of the way up the mountain.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate it.
Of course.
Now, the third day was one of the most important. It's where during the day we would hike to over 15,000 feet and then sleep low at just over 13,000 feet, which is only about 700 feet above the previous night's camp. This is done to help our bodies acclimate to the altitude and better prepare us for the upcoming summit push.
That is where we're headed. Over 15,000 feet. Highest elevation I've ever been. This is the highest I've ever been.
We stopped at Lava Tower and had a delicious meal for lunch prepared by the porters. Little did I know, but due to altitude sickness, this would be the last full meal I was able to eat on the mountain. After lunch, we had a very long and difficult downhill hike to that night's camp.
That is where we came from.
This part of the trek had us all feeling not so great, but the guides and porters did their best in trying to keep us motivated and our spirits high. After over 10 hours of hiking, out of breath, and with a pounding headache, we finally arrived to camp.
Today was hard.
Yeah, this is a long day.
This is a hard day.
Tomorrow we're going to cross the wall. That's Barranco Wall. See the trail?
That trail?
Yes.
That's tomorrow?
That's tomorrow, yeah. After breakfast.
After breakfast. Yeah.
The fourth day started out with me waking up and immediately throwing up. 2 times, actually. I was feeling terrible, and we had the huge Barranco Wall in front of us to climb. When you get to high altitudes like this, altitude sickness becomes extremely common. Now, I was at an altitude higher than I had ever been before. Back home in Texas, I live around 40 feet above sea level, and the top of Kilimanjaro is 19,341 feet. That's just over 3.5 mile difference, so it was safe to say I was feeling some altitude sickness. Some of the symptoms of altitude sickness are nausea, headache, fatigue, weakness, symptoms that I was all feeling, and left untreated, this can actually lead to death.
Da-dum, da-dum.
Hydrate. Okay.
Asante, sir. Rough morning. I'm feeling better. I threw up.
I wasn't able to stomach much, if any, food at lunch, and I actually started to feel worse. I felt so bad, a guide had to carry my pack for me. At each break we took, I would find a rock and take a quick nap. I assume it's because I was so tired, but those rocks were more comfortable than my bed at home. I was feeling absolutely miserable, but with the flag in hand helping push me, we made it to Barafu camp.
Made it to Camp 4. I'm exhausted. Morning of the summit. Feeling okay.
Summit day started at 11 p.m. on the same day we arrived at Barafu camp.
Leaving for the summit. It's a little past 12.
We were all running on 3 hours of sleep. Surprisingly though, I felt good.
It's our first break. Feeling good.
Congratulations. You are now to Uhuru Peak, Tanzania, 50.95 meters above sea level.
So this is just post hydration. We're just trying to get them kidneys cleaned out, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Did you see the flag, Sean?
I did, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.